Hey 7th and 8th graders, thanks for coming and watching this video. You are going to need your pencil, you are going to need a piece of paper, and you're going to need a ruler. Now if you don't have a ruler that has like the numbers on it, you can find something that's called like a straight edge. Okay, like for example, this one looks like a ruler, but it's just a red piece of metal that I can use as a straight edge. Okay, because when we are doing our calligraphy letters, it is important that we have very even lines, and we are going to be learning what all those lines mean. Now, as I talked about before, is we are not going to be using actual calligraphy pens because those are all at the school and we don't have access to them for the large group. But what we are going to be doing are a few different styles of calligraphy, and we're going to learn how to do that without a calligraphy pen. Okay, so we're going to be learning how to do that using your pencil, and then how you can outline that using black Sharpie. You could outline it with just a pen. So we're going to be going a little bit a longer route of doing calligraphy versus using a calligraphy pen. Now, as we go on and you'll see the multiple videos that I post about this, you'll see that there's other choices available to you as far as if you have that kind of tool accessible to you. And I'll show you what those are in future videos. But for today, we are going to be getting our paper prepared for the calligraphy that you're going to be doing. Okay, so remember, your paper can be lined paper, it can be just plain paper, whatever you have available to you. Okay, but we are going to be using a full sheet. And if you're someone who would actually prefer to do many of these because you're like, oh, this is so cool, I like calligraphy, then you can do as many as you want. But for this project, we're going to be using just this one sheet. All right, so make sure you have those supplies, the paper, the ruler or the straight edge, and your pencil. Okay, let's get started getting our paper prepared for calligraphy. All right, so I have my ruler or my straight edge and my pencil. Okay, and what we're going to be doing is we are going to be breaking this paper into fours. Okay, so that there are 4 even rectangles. Okay, now this paper I have is 9 inches by 12 inches. It depends on what paper you're working with, so your measurements will be a little bit different. But no matter what you're doing, you do simple math to be able to figure out how you can find the middle, right? So that we have nice even rectangles. So how you can do that, if mine is 12 inches, I obviously just divide 12 in half. Half of 12 is 6, right? Okay, so I know that the long section is 12 inches. That means my middle is going to be 6. So I'm lining my ruler up now, and I'm gonna make just a little bit of a mark there, okay? Now that mark helps me just know where I need to start my line. Okay, now I'm gonna move down to this side, and I'm gonna make another little mark. That lets me know that that's where the 6-inch mark is on the bottom. Should have probably erased my math. And then I'm gonna line up the 2 markers together so that it makes a nice straight line down the middle. And then I'm gonna do that same thing on the other side. So I have 9, okay, and 9 we know is not an even number, so it's 4.5 inches is my half. Okay, so I'm gonna line this up, find 4.5, make a little mark. Do the same on this side, line it up, 4.5. Then I can line up the ruler to the 2 marks and make my final line. So now I have 4 even spaced rectangles. If you do not have a ruler and you can't measure it, you can simply just fold the paper in half 2 times, once going this way, and then after that's folded, once again like this. So you're making kind of like a little book. And when you open it up, there will be 4 even sections for you, okay? Now in each of these sections, we're gonna have a different type of calligraphy. In the top here, we are going to do in an italic calligraphy. Over in this box, we're gonna have a Gothic style. And then down below is going to be script. Now, italic and script are very similar, but you will see the difference. And then this final one will be your choice. Okay, so what I did is I wrote italic, Gothic, script, choice. All right, so I just remember which one's gonna go in which. So we are gonna begin by creating our guidelines. Now, when you make your guidelines, you don't wanna press down very hard. You wanna press down very lightly. So I'll show you in the camera how that looks after I'm all done here so that you can see how light I do it. The reason we do it light is because we want to be able to erase these lines. Okay, because once you draw or write the calligraphy, you can erase it and it looks like it's very straight. It has a really good style to it. Okay, so these guiding lines are very important. Okay, so when you have lines for calligraphy, you have 5 very important lines, and they're all spaced out a little bit differently. Okay, so we have the 5 are ascending, the capital line, waist line, base line, and descending line. Okay, now I don't expect you to memorize these, okay, but it is important that you have all 5 of the lines. So when you're doing this, if it helps you, put like at the top of your paper, A for ascending, C for capital, W for waist, B for base, and then D for descending. So you know that you need 5 lines on each paper. Okay, now the easiest way to do this is to just go across the whole length of the first 2 rectangles with each of your lines, because then you don't have to worry about trying to measure them out and draw them again. And then the same down here. Okay, but first we are going to start measuring out our lines. Okay, so they're the ascending line and the capital line are both 1/4 inch, and then your waist and your base and your descending, those 3 are about a 1/2 inch each, I would say. So if you have a ruler that has a measurement on it, you are gonna wanna start by making a line in the middle. Okay, so this is a 4.5 inch rectangle by 6 inch. So half of 4.5 is 2 1/4, I believe. Sorry if must messed that up, guys. So I'm gonna make a little marker at 2 1/4, and I'm gonna do the same all the way on the other end of my paper. Okay, 2 1/4, because just like how we did before, then I can line these up. Again, if you don't have one, you just have a straight edge, you'll kind of just need to kind of guess with your eyes, okay? Or you can grab like a measuring tape. Now I realized I pushed a little too hard on that one, so my other ones are gonna be not as hard. So that one was right in the middle. Now we said that our, well actually maybe I didn't tell you this, but our waistline is right here in the middle, okay? The waist is the middle line. So then from that middle line, I'm going to measure 1/4 inch, and then another 1/4 inch to total a 1/2 inch. Do the same on the far end, 1/4 inch, then a 1/2 inch. Then put your ruler back to the waistline, which is our middle, and you're going to measure out a 1/2 inch. And then from there, we're gonna do one more 1/2 inch. So if you want, you can just measure, keep your ruler there at the same spot, measure the 1/2 inch, and then the last 1/2 inch. So if we count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Okay, so again, I'm gonna move that down to my end here. I'm gonna line that up. Okay, a 1/2 inch, and another 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to connect all of those markers. One way to make sure that you are having a straight line is look at the distance between your ruler and the edge of the paper. And if one part looks like it's wider than the other part, that means you don't have a straight line. Okay, so not pressing very hard. Now remember, if I'm going too fast for you, you can pause and play the video as you need to. But you should be following along with me as I'm doing this. It's just gonna make your life easier, okay? So I got my ascending line, my capital, and my waist line. Now I'm gonna work on my base line. The base line here was 1/2 inch below the waist, and then our descending line. So I'm measuring up those two, making sure that I'm gonna have a nice straight line. Okay, so we have the ascending, the capital, the waist, the base, and the descending. Okay, so we have all 5 of our lines. All of our calligraphy is gonna stay in these lines. Now, if you go on to do more of your own calligraphy, you can make these smaller or bigger depending on the size of the artwork that you are working on. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom through finishing these bottom 2 so that my paper's all ready to go. Okay, so you can see here, nice and close, in my italic box, what that should look like. I have my ACWBD ascending, capital, waist, base, and descending line. We have our Gothic section there, script, and then your choice once you know all of the different ones. So this is what your paper should look at before you watch the next video for the next step. Now, as I mentioned before, there are going to be multiple steps to this, so make sure that you are following along to the correct video so that you know what step you should be on and you're not jumping ahead, because the way that you see something online may not be the way that I want to teach you. So if you want to go ahead and do some more research about these different kinds of calligraphy before the next video comes out, that's fine. But just know that the way that somebody else does it is not necessarily gonna be the way that I'm gonna teach it to you, all right? Because there's so many different ways to do calligraphy. And just remember that they are all using calligraphy pens, okay? Most of you don't have access to that. Some of you may have them, but just we're gonna be doing it the old-fashioned way, where we're gonna be using just the tools that we have so that everyone is gonna be successful and everyone's on the same level with this. All right, guys, so the next step is going to be getting to learn about the different types of calligraphy. So like the italic, the Gothic, and the script, and what do those look like? And then you'll get to see the first demo of getting to start writing out and how do you find the different widths. I have a hard time saying that word, widths. So how wide some of the letters are and where do you put them, because the parts that are wider and the parts that are skinnier on the lines are really important for being able to have a unified looking and recognizable calligraphy. All right, so I hope you guys found that easy and wasn't too confusing, but I'll put the measurements that you are going to need to do into our Google Classroom instructions for this project, okay? So if you forgot all the measurements for the 5 different lines that you need for this, I'll go post those for you. Okay, guys, I hope you have a really great day and be watching for the next video that's going to be coming out on Wednesday. All right, now we don't meet on Wednesday together, A class, but that's when the next video will be posted. B class, you will get to watch both videos right away as soon as you're ready for them, okay? So they'll both be posted, all right? But these are gonna be due 1 week from when I assign them, right? So A class, Monday, we started. Following Monday, they're due. B class, we start on Wednesday. The following Wednesday, they're due. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.